My hair is difficult, right? It doesn't. My hair has never really been. It's always been kind of like this. Like, what do I do with it? And I am trying to get homework done again, that kind of thing. I have never mentioned any of my mental health care providers when I've been talking about them. I've never mentioned their names. I've never identified them in any way, no matter what it was I said about them. But there's at least one movie that is ridiculing me based on something that I'm fairly certain that a mental health care provider, not the one I just talked about in the last video, but somebody else, who was part of my life that way. I remember having a particular discussion with her, years and years ago, and it seems like she decided to. It was, of course, entirely confidential. Certainly, the setting in which we talked about what we talked about was entirely confidential. I think she might have misunderstood what it was that I was saying, and has clearly talked about it to somebody. And now it's in a movie that is ridiculing me. It's certainly the situation in which I met that person was very sad for me, very painful for me. That year in particular, I remember that year was one of the most painful years of my entire life. I remember how just totally devastated that I was, and it wasn't like it was the only devastating year of my life, but that year was particularly painful. I remember, especially especially like the first half of it, the first part of it, when a lot had happened. A lot had happened by the time that I was in that situation and had met that person. Yeah. It's interesting. It's interesting too that she decided that she was going to break confidentiality to talk about me specifically, because of course if those people talk about me, it's not like people aren't going to know who I am, because they're talking about me, because I'm getting to be famous, unfortunately, and they're talking about me. Breaking confidentiality to talk about me, and identify me that way. And I was thinking about her. I in fact was thinking about her because I'm in school. I was thinking, I had been thinking about her actually in a very positive way, because she was in school when I knew her, and I really was very impressed by the way that she did her schoolwork, and I've thought about that. I've thought about really what a good student she was. And how she was really, she never put things off. And she would get them done weeks before they were due. And I was very, very impressed by that. So it's unfortunate that she in particular decided that she was going to blab about me in such a way that is now getting me ridiculed in yet another movie. It's like Hollywood thinks it hasn't done enough to ridicule me in all sorts of ways. You gotta wonder why did they do it? What? And they're not the only ones, people sitting there in corporate offices, in their marketing departments, thinking of horrible things to say. People at the White House thinking of horrible things to say. People in newsrooms all over the world thinking of horrible things to say about me in particular. And you think this is not adult bullying? This is not bullying? Do you really think that?